employment outcomes, and environments.
If you're looking at employment, there's really a broad spectrum of employment outcomes that are available. And I just want to talk a little bit about each one of those. And we're going to start from the most restrictive and end up in like the least restrictive. And so the first one is a day program. And a day program is kind of like an adult daycare setting. There's a lot of supervision. The activities are primarily social, recreational, and the staff are paid usually through county or state funding. The employment piece that's connected with that, sometimes there's volunteer work, but a lot of times it's just social activities, things to keep them busy. The second one on that spectrum is a sheltered workshop. And a sheltered workshop, like a day program, is a separate, segregated setting. And the people who work there all have disabilities outside of the staff. Those workshops receive contracts from the federal government, for example, private businesses, to create a product, produce a product, and the employees help to achieve those contracts. And the distinction is that they're often not paid a competitive wage. So it's not a minimum wage job. They're paid a piece rate for each amount of work that they complete during a period of time. The third one in that spectrum of employment options is an enclave.
In a video clip, we see two students with charge working at their supervised jobs. They are responsible for emptying trash and recycling bins.
And an enclave is where a couple of people, 4 to 6 people with a disability, work under the supervision of 1 or 2 people, but out in the community. And so an example might be if a work crew worked in a hotel and cleaned a bank of rooms. Those individuals may not be independent enough to clean the room on their own, but together with supervision, they can get that job done.
In another video clip, we see 2 young adults with charge who are side by side at a workstation in the back of a market. Their job is to fill plastic containers with trail mix and candy.
The fourth one is supported employment. And supported employment means that the person goes out into the community, gets a job just like you and me, but needs ongoing supports to do it successfully. Maybe during the first couple of weeks, they need someone with them all the time to make sure they're learning the steps appropriately. And then after that, that job coach will check back in with the employee, with the employer, and make sure that things are going well. See if communication is good, help ensure the success of that placement. And the wage should be a competitive wage with what the other people who work in that setting are earning. The fifth one on that list is competitive employment. And these are jobs that anyone can get, right? You get them in the newspaper, you knock on doors, you fill out applications online. So a competitive employment job, the distinction between that and supported employment is that the person doesn't need supports to do that job. They can do it independently on their own.
2 young adults with charge work in the back room of a large market where they place containers they have just filled on a scale and weigh them. They then place a price label on each one. The containers are put into a shopping cart for delivery to the store shelves.
So the last one on the spectrum is really self-employment. And for people who want to work in this area, there's a number of different choices. For example, I know deafblind people who have their own business doing repair of braille writers, or they create unique note cards that they sell. Another woman that I know has her own tote bag business. She hand designs them and she sells them. A number of people sell stories, short stories, poems to magazines and newspapers, and they're able to do that from their own home. They use their computer as their communication tool. They do it on their own time. Transportation's not an issue, and so there's a lot of flexibility options around working as a self-employed person. I think the key really is for self-employment is not only making sure it's something you enjoy doing, but it's a product that the public wants to purchase, and that'll help ensure the sales of the company. I wanted to just make one other point as it relates to vocational rehab and this spectrum. So if you are seeking services through vocational rehab, they can really help with the last half of that spectrum, from supported employment, competitive employment, and self-employment. If your son or daughter is looking to go to work at a sheltered workshop, you won't need VR for that. It's not an employment outcome that they would support. And so really just those three at that one end.
Fade to black.